It's been a bit over 6 months since we went down to the toll road for a look, and I can see from here it's changed already. Well, that embankment's built up much higher than it was last time we were down here. You can see over there in the distance is the foundation of focus. I can't see the screen in the dark here very well, but I can tell you behind where that excavator is, that's where they're constructing the foundation for that crosswalk last time we were down here, so they've put a hell of a lot of dirt over the top of that since. Many trucks of soil to fill that up at that level. And down there they're driving piles. So a lot of piles to be driven to reach all the way back to Publik Lake. There's another bridge that goes where the traffic goes underneath the freeway up there by the look of it. Let's see if we can get closer. Oh, hang on, I better get off this track. Some of the locals enjoying the rice paddy. Work goes on. So there's a nice tractor over there preparing for planting. Spraying for bugs. And there's a hive of activity. So if it's like this long every section between here and Publik Lake, there's a hell of a lot of people working on this. But labour's cheap here, so you expect nothing less. See if we can get a little bit closer. So yes, we're closer. The provider doesn't want me to go up on top. Well, I don't think I can anyway, other than going up that ramp over there, and I don't feel like going over there. So we probably won't get a lot closer than this. But as you can see, they're contouring the sides of it nicely now. And apparently they've been planting grass. Whoop. Yep. Last November we walked from that point right down to where that bridge is down there and then back up, but not happening this time. So we've come a fair way back from the toll road now. I'll go short trail for this guy. The providers stopped at the shop along the way. It's 2 days later, and this time we're going south instead of east. And there's grandson scouting ahead. This is looking east from the road where we're walking south. Yep, lots of people working. And we'll keep going. I commented to Jabida that there's a lot more concrete in people's yards now, and she explained that the toll road often has surplus concrete and they're happy to get rid of it to the locals who are happy to take it from them. So we reached the south end of the road, so now we're looking east again from that. There's the bridge I was looking at back in November, trying to figure out how that works, and yes, the freeway definitely, well, sorry, toll road definitely goes over the top of that. Okay, let's go closer again. This is something you often see here, is things written out in English, and most of the people locally don't speak it, so you kind of wonder why. Maybe it's playing to the international market. But, good long line of trucks to carry more soil up there. Wonder where it's all coming from. There's a mountain disappearing somewhere, but we have that just hit the microphone. So we have a bridge down there over the local river. That's what a lot of the pile driving would have been for. but it looks like there's another bridge down further. So it's a big project. So give it another year, might be done. That should make the drive to Jakarta a lot easier from here. There's a good lot of rocks on this road now, so it's no longer the potholes it used to be at this end, but they tend to have largish rocks among them, so you've got to watch where you walk, otherwise you might turn an ankle. So this is looking east again, and that's those same trucks that were just starting off when we're at the south end. Whenever I go to construction works like that, I wear my high-vis gear to avoid being run over. I figure they probably see this and think, oh, that's some boss come to check up on us. He's taking photos. Oh, we've got to be on our best behaviour now. And it's about, yes, it is 8 minutes to 9 AM, and it's 28 degrees and 96% humidity. So I don't know if it shows up on this, but raining sweat. So I'm now back in my nice cool lounge room, and I'll be sitting here recovering for a while after mopping my brow and getting rid of the high-vis vest. I got the lightest weight high-vis gear I could get, but even so, it's another layer that helps to make me hot. Oh well, that might be all the only real content I have for this week's video. Sorry about that. Something that continues to puzzle me this week is this stuff. We have the new switchboard here, which is powered solely from my off-grid system at the house, and one of the breakers on that is the backup input to this automatic transfer switch here. Now, the PLN, Publik Listrik Network, powers through that breaker in the middle of the screen there the primary input to this automatic transfer switch. So the idea is that if that wasn't there, the timer, if the public network went off, this old switchboard would be switched across to being powered from the new switchboard. With the timer switch there, I control it so that between 9 AM and 9 PM the old switchboard is powered from the new switchboard solely, and then overnight it's powered from the public network unless the public network goes off, in which case the automatic transfer switch will switch it back to being public powered from the off-grid network. All very good in theory, and it works well, mostly. But for unknown reasons, this breaker tends to trip spontaneously during the night, or it had been doing that. Like the last time I had that happening during the night, it happened 4 times in the one night. So you sort of wake up in the night, check my dashboard on the mobile phone, and it says, oh, power consumption is a bit higher than expected. Come out here, switch the breaker back. This number here is the consumption by that old switchboard, or through that old switchboard. So it's 953 watts currently. That old switchboard, the 4th breaker on that, powers the pumps for the tank here, and also used to power Lizu's house. But we've had a separate meter put in over there, and an automatic transfer switch without a timer on it. So the idea is that if the PLN goes off, that should fall back to the input from the backup source, which is currently a coil wire up top there. That should be wired back into the new switchboard to this RCBO, but I don't know why that hasn't happened yet. But it's hard to get things done to schedule around here sometimes. But anyway, back to the off-grid system here at the house. So here we have 37.5 kilowatt hours of battery, a 7.5 kilowatt inverter, and these guys are taking input from the solar panels on top of the house. There's just under 15 kilowatts of those, and feeding it all into this thing, which is all fine. If the state of charge of those batteries goes less than 20%, that unit there will shut off the inverter for the output, so it'll shut down the power to the house. So you need a backup supply for this to import from if the power levels are too low. So at 25% state of charge, it will import via this big black cable running up here, and that actually goes across to the shed where there's a second completely separate system. There's 11.3 kilowatts of panels there. So here we are at the shed system. There's another 22.75 kilowatt hours of battery there, and we have 3 of these inverters because this is actually a 3-phase system, and 1 unit for managing the power coming from the solar panels. So when the house state of charge goes down to 25%, it says, okay, I want to import, and it imports from phase 1 here, and those are only 5 kilowatt inverters, so it's limited to importing 5 kilowatts at a time. Yeah, so that's all good. It will happily import from here. If the state of charge here goes down to 25%, there's actually a diesel genset. I wonder why it's blinking red up there. Oh, I think it's to do with the genset. Now, after a thunderstorm a couple of weeks ago, the diesel genset has got a problem with its auto start function. When it's set to auto start, it wants to start and run, independent of control by this thing, which is not correct. So I'm still waiting on technicians to turn up and look into that. Hopefully they'll come here by the end of the month, but oh well, yes they don't. So what I'm looking at is over at the house, way over there, if we go below 25% state of charge, imports from here. If this thing gets down to 25% state of charge, it's not going to export anymore, and it's going to want to try and import. So I can do a limited number of imports during the night before it's going to need to run the genset, which I can't do automatically. I'm going to have to do it manually. So what I've been doing is managing the load so that we don't hit that situation by carefully monitoring whether the breaker for the PLN has tripped by itself. That hasn't done it for a week. I don't know why this last week's been different, but it's worked perfectly, and consequently the household system has not even had to do an import from this overnight. So what's changed? Yeah, it's all a mystery to me. Anyway, this is an expensive setup. I'd hate to tell you how much it cost. I think the genset was about 27 grand. That was a minor portion of it. So be thankful for your solar and storage systems in Australia with the subsidies you get, as this ain't subsidised. This is full price. And there's my diesel genset sitting in its caged enclosure. You can see the wire mesh there. This has actually made it all bird proof. so I can't even get sparrows in there now, which makes me think, hey, Faraday cage, so why did thunderstorm affect that? Find out eventually, I guess. So a major driver in getting Lizu's house on the Publik Listrik Network, with just backup from the off-grid network, was to reduce the overnight load on this old switchboard with the house, thinking that might reduce the chances of tripping that breaker. The breaker has, the last event where it tripped 4 times overnight was after we got that new meter over here at Lizu's house. So I really don't understand. At this point, the only things on that old switchboard are the lights, the 4 of the air conditioners along the south side of the house, of which only 2 are usually in use at one time, and pumps. Hello. She's my friend. She likes me a lot. Yeah, so I just hope these technicians turn up and sort out my genset, so I don't have to worry quite so much about this breaker tripping. So that's the state of play this week in Backroom. Time to try and make sense out of this in an edit and do an upload.